Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know our story, Ron and I did 15 years in the prison system. Yes, I said 15 years in prison. Ron doing time on the inside, and the boys and I doing time on the outside.
And out of our experience, we were able to develop a curriculum called TYRO, really a professional development curriculum. And the word TYRO means, it's a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
And what TYRO does is it teaches dads to become warriors, means leaders in their home, their community, and their workplace.
And so what we get to do now is to empower fathers to really embrace the title dad, embrace the title father, and really understand what does it mean to be able to give back and to raise up a family of honor, a family of strength, a family of great character, where it becomes a family worth following.
So today we're going to be talking about coming home, actually being home. What is it like? What are the most important things when you actually get home? And they're probably not the things that you're thinking.
You know, I know for my sense, when I first came home, just the fear, the unknown. You know, it's one thing to experience going from one penitentiary to another that you've never been at, and you know, that's a whole nother mind battle that a guy has when he's leaving a penitentiary where he's finally got comfortable and he's finally got to understand the system and how it works, to leave that environment to go to another environment of the unknown. So leaving the penitentiary to go home, you know, you have expectations and you have ideas, but you just don't know. If you're gone away a while, you know, everybody's changed, everybody's evolved.
And you've got all these big picture ideas of the things, well, I've got to accomplish this, and these are these ginormous macro universe type of goals. What we're going to talk about today are the minute things, the little tiny things that get you from minute to minute, the things that are really important to really help you be reestablished in your home and your community.
And so that's what we're excited about. We're going to talk about what does that mean to come home? You know, and then why is it important to have an understanding about it? And then how do you activate these principles we're going to talk about in your life to become that great dad when you do come home?
So we are really excited to share with you what we learned from our own personal experience. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we are talking about coming home.
You know, the greatness and the great experience of coming home is embracing family, is embracing a new legacy, and really coming into a place of where I'm now conscious, I got dreams and ambitions, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna tackle the world, and I'm gonna have victory over everything that I confront, right?
That's right, and I've gotta get on a track to get a job, I've got a resume,
Woo! I
gotta get those appointments to get
and
interviews.
I'm coming home full steam ahead, no, I'm running hard,
Right. So we're not talking about all of those things, all of the great big plans that you have, those are really, really important. And so, you know, doing reentry planning, we cannot stress enough how important that is. But the things we're going to talk about today on the show are things that I'm not really sure anybody else, anyway, nobody I know is actually talking about. And so what we are talking about is those literal moment by moment. What do I do as I walk out the door and I see my family for the first time? What do I do when I get in the car? What do I do when I walk into my home? How do I actually reintegrate into my home, my community, and my workplace?
You know, this is a big deal, dads. You know, sometimes I think I've met a lot of men who have come home and they try to really not embrace their own emotions that is happening when they've come home for the first time in their family. They've been gone maybe 2-3 years. Even if you've been gone 6 months, a lot has changed. And you've changed.
Yeah, nothing stands
right?
still.
Nothing stands still. And embracing, I think when we think about why is it important is because you have to let your life breathe. And this is when Cathy says minute by minute. This is, you're not breathing through life and then holding your breath for so many seconds and then breathing again. That's not how it works.
We're not going through the day with great big huge gulps of air that are going to sustain us. So those great big huge goals you have, they're going to be achieved through these tiny little steps.
So I think when Dad comes home, one of the first steps he's got to understand is what this means to be home. What this means to be present now in the lives of the people that you may have hurt, you may have done damage to, you may have really
had disappointed.
Yep, yeah, and these are all true things that we have to acknowledge. You can't ignore it, Dad. You are the father, you are the dad, you were supposed to be the breadwinner, you were supposed to be provider, all these things, protector, but okay, it didn't happen, but doesn't mean you can't hit the reset button.
Right.
Now you're home, you're conscious, you're awake, what do you do?
So we're literally talking about what it takes to transfer from living in prison and having that extended relationship, that kind of distance relationship with your kids, and now actually crossing that bridge and reintegrating your children's lives and your family's life. What do you need to do? You need to do specific things, and you need to actually be very intentional about what you're doing every single moment, especially in the very beginning. When we think about those very first contacts, it's very important to understand coming home is a big deal.
One of the things it's not, Dad, is you've developed in prison a regiment. You've developed a time when you get up, when you eat, when you go to bed, count time, all these things in your life have been set like clockwork in prison. Guess what, dads? That's not how life works out here, especially when you come home. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have your still tight regiment when you come home.
Or your schedule.
Or your tight schedule. You know what? Maybe you get up at 5:30 every morning because that's what you did in prison and you began your workout or whatever you were doing in the morning. Maybe your children are still getting up at 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm talking about me. I get home, all right, guys, time to get up. But Dad, it's only 5:30. I know, but we're gonna start working out. We don't want to do that. We don't want to become the military type individual and begin to start coloring in the lines.
And also, I also want to say what we don't want to do, what you don't want to do as you go home, is come rushing back in and just go right away and say, okay, well, what are we looking at? Okay, well, here's closet space. Let me unpack all my stuff. Let me move everything in there. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about those moments that we don't want you to miss from the time you walk out of the gates into especially across those first probably 3 or 4 critical weeks as you're reintegrating into your family's life. It is especially those first critical hours, right? What are the things that you need to do? And we're talking about making those connections. We're talking about slowing down and actually spending time with your family. We're talking about enjoying every single moment and creating a memory around it that is going to help you through this very tumultuous reintegration into life. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about why it's so important. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to talk to you exactly how to do it. How do you need to be as you walk out? What are the specific things that you need to do in order to connect with your family and connect with your community?
And one more thing before we do go to a commercial break, I want to just say, what is it? It's you being intentional about what's there, right? Not try to alter what's there, right? But what is it? It's you adding value, Dad, to what's already there, right? That's what it is, right? Coming home is you bringing value. And that's what we're going to talk about more in the coming segment. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina, and today we are talking about coming home.
You know, we talked about earlier about we're not talking about the macro. You know, we know you got to get a job. You know, you got to do your resume. You know, you got to check in. We know all these things. They have to be done, and they're very important. But I love the way Cathy said it. What we're talking about today is minute by minute life. You know, being there and not being a dictator, not coming home and trying to get everything done and overpower everybody in your family. A lot of times,
not rushing in with your own big agenda and forgetting about the lives that you're impacting.
A lot of times I think we see a lot of fathers, she's not listening. You know, I came home and I want to, well, what did you do? You know, well, I came home and I had my own ideas about how things were going to run. But dude, you've been gone 3-4 years, man. How are you going to change the course of life in a matter of 48 hours?
Right.
Right.
And so coming in and immediately just thinking that you can just take over the home, take over the neighborhood, whatever, that's the wrong way to come home. Yes, you want to be purposeful. Yes, you want to go out and knock down your dreams, and you absolutely want to live out your destiny. But in the midst of that, those first moments are so important. Now we're going to really focus in this segment about why are they important. Why is it important to make that connection as soon as you walk out the gate and you see your family waiting for you, or as soon as you walk up to the porch and you see your family on the other side of the door? Why does it even matter what you do in those next few hours or minutes?
You know, I think one of the things that a person learns when they're incarcerated is the concept of hurry and wait. Right? There's a lot of things that you might move forward with, but then there's a lot of waiting process. And I think dads, one of the things that you can have a takeaway here, why is it important, is that yes, life was moving without you, but it was moving at a pace that maybe you're not even understanding. Maybe because in prison, life stops, right? It does. It's the same thing over and over again, but life didn't stop out there. So it's almost like you want to join in the race, not outrun the race.
That's exactly right.
Right? You want to join with the rhythm that has made your family function up until the time you got home.
And creating positive disruption is awesome. And that's wonderful. But a sudden, overpowering disruption will really create a lot of havoc in your children's lives. So it was your children have experienced this tremendous trauma with you going into prison. I mean, it's comparable to like a death or child abuse, right? It's the same level of trauma that your children are experiencing just because you went to prison. So now they have gotten into a semblance of a normal routine, whatever that routine is. And so as you reintegrate, there are mixed feelings that your children are having, that your family's having, like, okay, I'm super excited about having dad home, but how is this going to impact my world, right? So as you come back in, what your job is and why it's so important to understand this reintegration process minute by minute is that you don't want to create more trauma and drama in your children's life. What you want to do is you want to come in and you're going to create disruption, and that's okay, but the disruption has to occur in such a way that your children know that they're on the journey with you, that they're not observing you re-entering and disrupting their life, but instead that they are actually part of that process, which gives them a sense of control, which helps them to be able to mitigate all the changes in a healthy way.
You know, when you look at waves out in the ocean, you know, and they're a constant flow of waves, or the water's always moving, right? But there's not always a storm, right? So if you can manage when you come home and you can feel the rhythm of your family, you can feel the pulse of it.
You can create some exciting waves.
Right, and you can feel it, and then you're gonna be able to be conscious, right? This is why it's important, Dad, because as you take the reins of your family, Dad, right, as you gradually, right, take on more responsibility, as you gradually really get engaged in your kids' lives, right, you get to then set the tone and the rhythm, the pulse of your family. You can increase it.
I'm gonna bounce
right?
it.
Right? You now take over the realm. You're now the captain, right? And you're creating the rhythm of your family. But if you come in there and you come straight in with heavy metal music and they've been playing some Barry Manilow, right? Man!
Woo! What in the world just happened?
What in the world? It ain't gonna work, man. In fact, you're gonna create so much chaos.
And so then your children are gonna build more walls. They're gonna create more distance between you and your children because now they're more afraid to let you in. They don't understand. They see all this disruption, all this chaos, and so they withdraw. And then they are deeper in their own pain, and it takes a lot longer to get them to come back out and connect with you. So why it's so important is that your job is to stabilize your family, stabilize your own life, but also all of the lives that are connected to you and depending upon you.
Your job, Dad, is to not be that shock and awe in their lives. It's just got to be a seamless transition. Like, one of the great things that Cathy was able to do while I was away, when she would go out places and people would see her, it was like I was there. Right? She was able to create an environment that I was there with my family, even though I wasn't there. Our visits, every decision Cathy would make, major decisions really, not necessarily the minor ones, but the major ones, I was able to be engaged in those decisions with my sons, with their personal life and everything else. So coming home, yes, it wasn't always a seamless transition, but the majority of the time, it was seamless because I was already present in their lives.
But we do not want to minimize the fact that there is a huge difference from being on the outside looking in and contributing to decision making and actually being in the midst of the chaos and making decisions right then and there. I mean, it was a big transition, and it's gonna be a big transition. But why it's so important that you really look at it as a transition that occurs minute by minute is because from the very first time that your children see you on the other side of the gates, they are forming an opinion about what life is going to be like with you post-prison. And so from the very beginning, those moments are very, very important.
So don't run from it. Don't try to create something that's not. Look at it and see it is. Because when we come back, we're gonna talk about how do you do this? How do you navigate and how do you make things applicable? When I say that, for not only yourself, but for everybody in your sphere of influence, everybody who is a what's that word? A stakeholder. A stakeholder in this experience, because the more equipped and ready you are for this, the better everybody else will be.
So when we come back, we're going to give you the tips and tools on how to make this happen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're talking about coming home. And I'm gonna be really, really transparent. I really appreciate Cathy. You know, she prepared a place for me to come home. As Cathy grew and became a better person, a better woman, a better mom with our sons and all the visits we had, she didn't create an environment where I had to find my way in. She created an environment where I had a place to come to. I had my place at the table already set and prepared when I came home. Now, granted, guys, some of you won't have that when you come home, but that doesn't mean you can't create it when you get home, right?
Right.
So that's
so
what we're
going to
talking
talk about. So Ron had 2 homecomings, right? So he had the first homecoming, and then the Court of Appeals overturned his release, and so he had to go back in, so he had his permanent homecoming. So we learned a lot about, coming home and the things that should happen, and things that probably shouldn't happen. So let's talk about from the moment you walk out. So we had 2 different scenarios. One scenario is we picked up Ron, us and the family, and we got to really connect. Another scenario is we had other people with us, and we went to go pick up Ron, and we had other people, and we created this like right away kind of commotion with having a ton of people and going out to eat, and that created a huge disconnect with our kids. So out of that experience, we're going to tell you the very first thing you should do is as you arrange whoever it is that's going to pick you up. But that moment that you see your children for the first time, it's got to be a connection moment with just them. I don't care who else is in the room. The very first time you see them should be a huge embrace, a huge hug, a huge kiss, and say, you know what? We're going to do this journey together. I have you. I am on your side.
And so, dads, I know there's going to be a lot of people, or maybe a few people that are going to want your attention. But the most important people that need your attention are your kids, because they're already deemed, castaways. Even society, maybe in school, maybe in their neighborhood, and they're counting on you, Dad. So when you come home, that you give them that eye-to-eye contact, and they might want to even push you away. They might not want to do that because of maybe being embarrassed and whatever it is, but you, Dad, got to stay on your square, and you have an agenda. Your agenda is to get in there and hold your kids. They are the first, number one priority that if you get that opportunity, you need to see them. That's who gets your attention.
Making that eye contact, slowing everything else down, and just concentrating intentionally on connecting with your kids is vitally important. That moment is more important than finding closet space. It's more important than going out and eating
It's
the
more
best
important
food
than getting
that you
a
want.
job.
More important than anything else. So the very first thing on your agenda is as you step foot on the other side of the prison gates is finding the very first moment you can, and it might even still be on the prison grounds in the parking lot, that you are making eye contact and you are making physical contact in that hug and connecting in the, you know what, I'm home and you're okay. We're safe now.
And that's the, when we talk about how do you do this, that's huge. Letting them hear you say, Dad, I'm home and you're safe. And they may look at you like, what? But they need to hear that.
But inside of them, there's something in them that is just going to totally receive that and hang on to that during the times that it's a little bit hard. Like, wow, now Dad's telling me what to do and Mom's telling me what to do. But those first words, I'm home and you're safe, will resonate inside of their memories. It's very, very important. So the next thing is, as soon as you get home, don't go walking through looking for places to put your stuff and telling them, well, you're going to have to move that. You're going to have to move that. Come in and let your family take the lead on, maybe this is a house you've never lived in. Maybe it's the same house you left, maybe it isn't. Let your family take the lead on, hey, Dad, let's go get something to eat. Hey, Dad, let's go sit in here. Hey, Dad, let me show you this. And if they don't take the lead, then come on in and sit down and say, okay, let's talk about what we want to do the rest of the day. That is really important. Now you're empowering your family, you're being part of the team. Let's join together and make a plan for the rest of the day.
Don't lead when you get home, dads. That's what Cathy's saying. Don't go in there and saying, okay, let me have my room back.
Lead, just don't take over.
Yeah, okay, thanks, son. Don't take over. You know what? Like, okay, I'm home now. I want my room back. Okay, I'm home now. That's my chair. Hey, I'm home now. Where's the remote control? I want that in my back pocket. And you're gonna walk around the house with your cell phone and you're in the TV remote. Don't do that, Dad. Right? Don't do that. Don't do that. But come home and observe.
And don't come home and start calling all your associates, all your buddies, have everybody show up all together until you've had that time to connect with your family, even if it's an hour or 2 hours. That was the difference between Ron's 2 homecomings. The first one, we had those couple of hours to just be us before everybody showed up. The second time Ron came home, everybody was there from the time that we picked him up until the time we got home, and for probably 12 hours we had people everywhere, and we were just kind of left shell-shocked.
So, Dad, just breathe, take in the moment, and embrace the kids. Embrace what you're coming home to. Look at it, listen, encourage them. Don't be a dictator, because our zeal can consume us. Your excitement can consume you. You know what? When you go into the fridge, open it. So just, how to do this.
So the second thing, when we say connecting, the first one is making that eye contact and that physical contact. The next thing you have to do is you need to eat together. Find something, I don't care if it's a snack, I don't care if it's a meal. Breaking bread and talking over that reduces the tension and increases the ability for
It
your
causes
children to
everybody
talk.
start letting their hair down,
Yeah.
letting their walls down in that moment when you're eating. And eating is so crucial. A snack, whatever it is, whatever you got to do, get on the table and break bread together.
So when we come back, so this concludes, we got to go to another message, but when we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it all up. We're going to give you some more practical tips and tools of things that you can do, you can begin to really be thinking about. So as you transition from inside into home, you're really going home.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're talking about coming home, and I really hope you're enjoying this segment because I know it's bringing back a lot of memories for me when I came home 2 different times. And what I wish I would have done, and what how I could have done things better, or what was really great upon my return, and things of that nature. And we're really hoping that you can embrace what we're saying here today, because dads, it is crucial, it is vital to your successful reentry, right? That you don't come in overpowering anything. You can lead without overpowering the situation.
Walk in, don't run in.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. That's good.
So,
walk in, don't run
in. So we talked about connecting and making sure that you're making eye contact and that hug. We talked about making sure that you're eating a meal together. But some other things, when you come in, notice what your family's doing. Here's another really important thing. If they're taking off their shoes as they walk in, what should you be doing then?
Take off your shoes
Take off
too.
your shoes. Then that shows that you are part of this family.
Right. And another thing that not to do is, when Cathy says, watch what they're doing, don't change the rules.
Right.
If they have certain rules that they've been living by, if mom has set up some rules, or whoever the caregiver is in that home, go with it, right? And maybe later on you can maybe add, or take away, but at the beginning, like we said, don't disrupt the atmosphere. Know the pulse of what's happening in your family, right? And another thing that you can do, another takeaway from here is, when you come home, not only observe, right, how they're acting, right, but listen really closely with intention. Listen to what their favorite food is, what time they eat, what time things are getting done, so that you can really quickly adapt to what's in front of you versus try to change it to what you want it to be.
Now, we're not saying that you can't bring your own personality, because it's vitally important that you bring your presence, your personality, and your leadership. But the way that has to happen is in a way that your children feel safe, they feel protected, they feel honored, they feel important. So making your children the priority starts from the time you walk out and then lasts across the rest of your life. So you're eating together, you're doing the family customs together, and then you are now taking the opportunity to teach your kids things about you. It can be teach them, okay, wow, you know what? We made this really cool dish. Let's get together and let's make this break together. Do something where you're bringing value that is uniquely you, so that your family and your kids are getting to connect with you on your terms.
Dads, something that's really important is, even in prison, we have what is called the 5 feet rule. Nobody can enter our space unless we allow them to, right? So remember, when you were at home prior to that, maybe you just walked into your child's bedroom. Well, now they've come to a place of where they've maybe found their own space. Instead of assuming that you can walk into their room, knock on the door, show them that type of respect and honor that you're giving them, because guess what? You're gonna want them to knock on your room, right? And so you begin that process, and maybe you're already doing that, maybe you weren't. I wanna encourage you, knock before you enter their room, and then enter after the knock, of course.
So we hope that these tips and tools are going to help you become an even better dad and connect with your kids on the inside and as you transition home and go home to stay.
So thank you for letting us be part of your journey, and always remember that we are rooting for you.